Alright guys, today I'm going to go over my Delta 34-801 unisaw. This unisaw I bought many years ago off of Craigslist. I got it used. One of the nice advantages of it is that it is only 120 volt system. It's not a 220 volt motor. This was originally manufactured in the 80s. If you take a look, you could see it has the normal dials to raise and lower your blade. There's little stops in there I adjusted when I got it. Also, another addition was the upgraded safety switch I put on maybe about 6 months ago. The original one is just a small start and a small stop button, and the newer one, it gives you a really easy to hit stop one. I found it very helpful, and it's also a nice safety feature because you have to be very deliberate to start the saw up. Growing up, I've always been a big Norm Abram fan, watching the New Yankee Workshop. One thing he had on his show was, as opposed to the normal guard for the saw, there was one right here which is a variable. Back then, you could purchase it. However, since then, the patent is still owned by someone and they don't produce it anymore. So what I did was online I found a way to produce my own. I bought the plans for it for $5 off a website. And if you take a look at it, right here, you could see I could slide one of these off, slide a new one in that corresponds to the correct data width I'm using. Also, I have one that's just 1/8 of an inch, which is the width of my blade right here. It's got an easy piece to put your thumb in to pop it out. It's got 4 leveling screws, you can see on the back, and as a safety, so if it gets caught, it doesn't come flying up at you. Right here is a finishing nail on the end. It was a real simple build, and it saved me a ton of time, as well as buying an extra metal throat plate that that was, I think, $40 to $50 for the saw, and it wasn't going to fit every data width I want. If you come over to the right hand side of my saw, you can see this little storage compartment I made. On the left hand side, storage for my gripper, which I've found to be an indispensable tool here in the garage. Also right here are my throat plate inserts. Some of them are already cut, some of them aren't. So if there's another job I need to do and I need to cut a new one for a new diameter, I'm ready to go. To the left, you can see I got a brush to brush off the table between cuts if need be, and behind that is also a feather board. To the far right is the yellow feather board I got from Harbor Freight Tools. I don't use that much, every once in a while, but it's still nice to have in the toolbox. One tool I acquired a while back also was this Osborne EB3 adjustable miter gauge. I gotta tell you, the one that came with the saw was just garbage compared to this. This thing adjusts super accurately to any angle you need to cut, as well as the back of it slides out to the left, and it'll actually become a little longer for you, so you could cut large pieces of plywood if you need, or even doors on the saw. It's indispensable, and it's something I would totally recommend spending the money on to purchase. Another item I built for this table saw that again has been very indispensable is this outfeed table. I made it just long enough so when I have a 8-foot sheet of plywood going through, it'll just start to tip off the back edge there. The plan I got off Norm Abram from New Yankee Workshop. You could Google or look up some of his videos on YouTube, and he describes how to make it. It's awesome to have, and it's one of those things that it's easy to build, and once you build it, it gives you so much more potential and so much ease in every project you build. It makes you wonder how you got by without it in the past. Last but not least, one more addition I made to this saw was this Delta T2 fence. The original fence that came on here was, I believe, called the jet fence. It was okay, but it wasn't nearly it wasn't even in the same level as this Delta fence I picked up. It went on there pretty easily, and it is dead accurate. If you take a look right here, I mean, it is all the way to the 32nd of an inch if I want to, and I trust it and rely on it every single time. The old jet lock fence just wasn't as good. One modification I had to make to it was there is a small piece of Teflon plastic that's screwed to the bottom of this Stockwise, and I had to take that off. It works pretty good. It doesn't drag on anything, and again, it's just like everything else. You have to make some modifications sometimes to make something work for an older saw. But in general, having this saw really saved me having to go out and spend $1,500 to $2,000 on a new unisaw, if not more. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour of my table saw today. It's one of the tools that is absolutely indispensable in the garage. It's something that everyone that wants to start out woodworking needs to buy a good one of. And I hope you guys enjoyed and it helps you a lot. Thanks, have a great day. Like always, feel free to subscribe.